Covington has a really big footprint. It's the largest city in northern Kentucky. Of all the river cities, it's definitely the largest. And it's got different identities in its neighborhoods. The real estate market as a whole is suffering through a significant inventory shortage, and that's combined with high demand for urban property. And anything in the urban areas is moving really quickly, and that's driving prices up, particularly around areas of heavy investment and development. The Center for Great Neighborhoods is a fantastic organization, and they've evolved and developed over the years. They have a strong housing initiative, and they do have a strong business initiative for creative people. So they're really kind of helping to change that landscape. The city of Covington, and I've worked with them for years. They offer down payment assistance programs for eligible buyers to come to Covington who want to own a home, and that's not a program that you can find in a lot of other places.
We always knew that we were the sister city of Cincinnati. We were the smaller city to Cincinnati. When I was growing up, we always went to Cincinnati for Findlay Market. That was the place to go. But now it's changing a little bit. Hopefully Covington becomes a destination spot as well. I feel that there's a lot of concentration in one area. I feel that if Covington is going to survive and continue, it needs to be, that development and that interest needs to be spread out amongst all of Covington, or strategically placed in Covington. I do know that it's easier to start in the north where it's kind of closer to Cincinnati, but there are great pockets of Covington right now that are primed for economic development. And I think that should be invested a little bit more. And I think that's a challenge, but I never really like to say challenge. I like to say it's an opportunity.
Hotel Covington has been just a tremendous asset. So, and Braxton Brewery, that whole area is just exploding. And so the goal and the priority is to help make that happen, and then hopefully that'll expand into other areas of the city too. So a lot of the programs we've got out here in Latonia, really hoping to make a big impact like we're seeing downtown. The biggest obstacle to Covington's future success, not only in Latonia, but really citywide, is parking. So it's something that we hear every day. So it's whether it's residential parking or parking for businesses, existing businesses, new businesses, it seems like there's never enough parking, and there's always a need for more.
The city kind of attracted us. We just like the location. We're 5 minutes from downtown Cincinnati, and we like that part. You have to find people that really care about their neighborhood and where they live to get them involved. And so it's an ongoing process. I'm excited because I believe there's going to be a resurgence of people that really want to get involved and that care about the neighborhood. And we've got this really incredible gardening effort going on here. We have areas that we could develop more housing, infill housing, working with the city on developing the old trailer park into some kind of a garden housing kind of thing. You've got the whole Licking Riverside Trailway coming in with the bike paths and all that stuff. And the Licking River's on the other side. I'm thinking someday I really want to go fishing down there. So, there's just a lot of opportunity here. We feel like Austinburg and this area in the middle core is really the core of the residential areas of Covington.
What I love most about the Eastside neighborhood are the people. Regardless of what anyone may say, we have a lot of loving, concerned people from that community. Some of the changes that I've seen in the neighborhood in particular has been the fact that a lot of the elders who were there when I first moved to the neighborhood, they are deceased. They're no longer there. They were property owners. The properties now are either abandoned or they have actually been demolished. They just don't exist anymore. There was a lot of home ownership there. The neighborhood itself has usually been between 50-50 between renters and homeowners, but there's become an increasing number of renters in the neighborhood versus the homeowners. And the families there have been there primarily for generations. I mean, that's one of the ways that we connect. When you meet someone and you're not familiar with who they are, it's just common to say, well, who's your parents? Or who's your grandparents? And then that establishes a connection. Overall, our neighborhood, unfortunately, has had a high level of unemployment. And it continues. It was basically high when I lived there as a youth on into my adulthood, and it's only gotten increasingly higher. Joblessness, high unemployment, and those lower incomes are something that we have got to address and do it successfully if we're going to change that neighborhood and the image and turn it around.
I think seeing the projects that have been in the pipeline for all these years really come to completion and see the impact that they have on the city. It's transformative to see a street corner changed. We worked on the Boom Block project, and putting that mural there and having eight homeowners in what was an abandoned building has completely changed the landscape of that particular corner.
There's a lot of exciting changes happening in Covington right now, and it's hard not to be excited about it. So I started with the city almost 9 years ago now, and when I did, I felt like we were in a giant hole where we had to go out and almost beg developers and new businesses to come into the city. And so 9 years later, with a lot of the decisions that the commission and business leaders made to pave the way for what's happening now, I feel like Covington's really turned a corner. So I feel like Covington was maybe one of the best kept secrets in Northern Kentucky, and now it's not so much. It seems like it's the cool place to be.
People say that Covington is the next Over the Rhine. I don't necessarily think that. I do think that we're going to develop and thrive, but we're going to develop and thrive in our own way. And that's going to be different than the development that's going on in Over the Rhine. But it's going to be just as good.